the threat of a nuclear war is now higher than it's ever been before. This is why the World Health Organization has given us a new statement and updated their medications needed for radioactivity. And I want to show you and explain what is going on. Now, let's be very clear. Really what's going on here, the situation in Ukraine is getting more and more intense. And as more countries decide to jump in and help, what's going to happen is Russia is only going to amplify their attacks. This is what we're hearing. And it's because of this situation that we are currently in that the World Health Organization is urging all countries to begin to stockpile critical medicine in preparation of a nuclear attack. Now, I will address what medications these are in just a minute. I will also give you the link that you can go and look at the World Health Organization's website. You can download the PDF. And I will also address what the United States is doing as well. First, let's talk about the seriousness of the situation that we are currently in. First, President Biden said that the United States wouldn't be sending military equipment or tanks to Ukraine. And he said this because this would mean World War III. However, that statement that he made was back in March of 2022. And in January 2023, he agreed we are going to be sending tanks, 31 M1 Abrams. Now, does this mean we are in a world war? Well, according to the White House, they say no. We aren't in a world war because the tanks will not be operated by U.S. military personnel. If they were, then yes, we would be in a world war. But this is where the danger comes in, and this is why the World Health Organization is recommending that countries now create a stockpile. Because the World Health Organization has not updated the medicines list since 2007, and now they decide to do it. That's telling. That's telling as to where they think we are going, right? We need to be prepared. Now, according to a recent report, Ukraine is already alluding to the fact that they could end this war if they were giving fighter jets. You need to keep in mind that the planes, the Air Force that Ukraine has, it is outdated. I believe some of the planes are like 30 or 40 years old. So the stuff that we have now in these F-16 fighter jets, this would be a huge upgrade. But the problem is it takes roughly 2 years to be trained on an F-16 fighter jet, and this is through the U.S. Air Force. This is through the Air Force. Now, I did talk to somebody just the other day and asked them, how much different is it to learn to fly in an F-16? And he simply said, it's night and day different. You would not know if you were just a regular airline pilot, it is completely different. Not only do you have to learn how to fly it, but you also have to learn how to maintain it. That's a big issue. Which means, if the United States were to ever even consider sending F-16s to Ukraine, well, the U.S. pilots would need to be used. That would constitute a war. Now, Russia has already stated that they are not opposed to using and to really going nuclear, which is why the World Health Organization has issued this statement. They say, in radiation emergencies, people may be exposed to radiation at doses ranging from negligible to life-threatening. Governments need to make treatments available for those in need fast. Governments need to have ready supplies of life-saving medicines that will reduce risks and treat injuries from radiation. And according to the World Health Organization, they say this includes an emergency stockpile that you should include stable iodine to reduce exposure of the thyroid to radioactive iodine. Also, chelating agents to reduce radioactive cesium and cytokines to mitigate the damage to bone marrow. Now, there's also a list of other medications that you can get. I will put a link to this website. This is the World Health Organization publication. So you can go and see. This is from January 17th, which is just yesterday. National Stockpiles for Radiological and Nuclear Emergencies Policy Advice. Now, this has not been updated. Look at that. It supersedes the 2007 World Health Organization report on development of stockpiles for a radiation emergency. Now, you can go in here. There is 66 pages that you can go and read. Right here, you can go and there is a table of contents right here. So you come down here and you can start to see what you need to have, right? And how to use it, how to store it. It tells you all that information in this PDF. So that's really good. I will put that link down in the description box below so you can go and check it out if you want to. Now, in this PDF, this 66 pages, there's also a list of other medications that you could go and get. The medications that the United States government has already purchased, and I will address that in just a second. This doesn't include things to reduce more common illnesses like infection, vomiting, diarrhea, and there's some other bodily harm that radiation can cause. But the world, and again, you can go and see all that stuff in this PDF, but the World Health Organization, they say, and I quote, "This updated critical medicines list will be a vital preparedness and readiness tool for our partners to identify, procure, stockpile, and deliver effective countermeasures in a timely fashion to those at risk or exposed in these events." Okay. Now, just to give you an idea of where the United States currently stands as to what we have on hand, well, according to the Department of Health and Human Services, we have purchased $290 million of a medication called Nplate. Nplate, and this was a statement back in, Back in October. You can see it right here, October 6, 2022. The U.S. purchases $290 million of a drug for use in radiological and nuclear emergencies. Now, according to the Department of Health and Human Services, they said back in October, and I quote, "We are purchasing this as part of long-standing ongoing efforts to be better prepared to save lives following radiological and nuclear emergencies." Now, the key here, okay, and the reason why, because I don't talk a lot about the World Health Organization. I don't talk a lot about medications in preparation of a nuclear war, because this is something that we haven't seen. Okay, it's highly unlikely we will ever get here because nobody wants to see a nuclear war. Nobody wants to go into World War III, which is why many people are somewhat predicting, and it's tough to say. And I feel bad for the people of Ukraine, but the United States will most likely let Ukraine fall. If it comes down to save Ukraine or go into save Ukraine by going into a world war, or let Ukraine just fall and let Russia take over, according to multiple reports, many experts, they're all saying the United States and NATO would turn towards letting Russia take over Ukraine. Okay? That is where they would. Ukraine isn't part of NATO. So they would let Russia take over Ukraine because nobody wants to go into a world war. And right now, one of the other issues is for the United States, we're running low on equipment. The pandemic caused a lot of issues, caused a lot of delays. Research and development slowed. And so what happened is right now, missiles are, I don't know if they're at an all-time low, but they're very low. Other military equipment, again, it's very low. So we need to kind of ramp up our production first, and there's not enough time. So the expectation is if it comes down to choose save Ukraine, but go into a world war or let Ukraine fall, according to reports, NATO is just going to let Ukraine fall. We are not going to jump into a world war. So that's what we know, but I just want you to understand what is going on so you can be prepared as well. And just understand that this statement from the World Health Organization, this news that's coming out, this is important, but at the same time, I don't think we need to rush out and go buy all these medications if you can get them. I don't think you need to go and do that because it is very unlikely that we do go into a nuclear war, because the United States would likely back off before we ever get to that point. So that's what we know at this time. As always, as I know more, I promise I'll come back on and share all latest news and updates. Again, thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.